Hello, this is Randall the Michigan Tropical Gardener, and I'm going to be making some grape juice from a hydraulic juice press that I made. First of all, I have to separate the grapes, and then we'll wash them off, and then I'll throw them into a blender and make a pulp out of them, and then put that into some pressing cloths that I have, or a pressing cloth, and then we'll squeeze out as much of the juice as we can. Then I will put it into this. No, I'm not cheating. This is empty. Just using it because I don't have any other containers right now. And then I will show you the process of squeezing it out with my homemade hydraulic press. Stay tuned. Okay, here they are. Now I do have a juicer, a centrifugal force juicer, which I could use, but I'm not. I'm not really looking to extract any juice out of these with the juicer. What I am looking to do is crush them up and just make a pulp out of them. Now, when you've removed the grapes, you really don't care what they look like as long as they're not rotting. You don't want mold, mildew, that sort of thing on them. You're not eating them, but at the same time, if they don't look that bad, I mean, like I said, you're not eating them, so they don't have to look perfect because you're just juicing them. They can be beaten, bruised, and split, just not rotten. Okay. And I'll finish. I'll drain those out, and then I'll blend them. As you can see, we have a pretty large bowl, and what we will be doing is I'll take these and put them into the blender jar and then turn them into a pulp. And the grapes don't have to be perfect looking. They can be split. They can be kind of soft as long as they're not rotten. You know, if there's any mold on them or something like that, then you don't want to use them, but you're not going to be eating these, you're just going to be juicing them, so they can be beaten up. That really doesn't make any difference. Okay, I will fill up the blender jar and we'll get to blending. Okay, plug your ears and here we go. Oh. Okay, now we're plugged in. We'll take it a small batch at a time. Since we're not adding water to this while we're blending, it may or may not blend up too easily. That blended up pretty easily without any water added. Okay, one small batch down and a whole bunch to go. Okay, we're going to use this large jar. We're going to use this large bowl. And put that into there. And repeat the process until we're done. Okay, a quick way to clean the blades on the blender. Just to put some water in there, clean water. If it's especially dirty, you could put a little bit of soap in there and blend it up and then rinse it out, and then you're good to go. If it's not that dirty, then you don't really need to. Just do that with some hot water. But because of bacteria and stuff, I think I'll add a little soap in there anyway. Okay, we're gonna put make sure I'm putting it into the blender jar. 1 drop, and set that aside, away from the food, and find the closed section. Now all I need to do is rinse it out and we're good to go. Okay, there we have our blended grapes. We have our clean ladle to use, and we'll set things up because I will be doing this in the basement, and you will see momentarily why. Hold on. Okay, this is my homemade hydraulic juice press. I made it from a sculpture that I had made. I'm a mixed media sculpturist. And so anyway, this is what I did. I deconstructed my sculpture and used parts of it to make this. Here is, well, there's part of it. This is the pan that I'll be using to press the juice into. Normally I would have used something like this. I had another one identical to this. This is aluminum, and the other one unfortunately got squished. So this has magnets in it, so that sticks up there. And I do wash that off really well after I press anything. What I will be doing, this block goes underneath the part of the pan there that's raised up. Fits in there so that this does not get squished any more than it is. I will rinse out the pan before I do anything. I did rinse it out when I was done previously, but I'll do it again just because it's been sitting down here. This is the hydraulic jack. The springs, once this goes up and I'm done pressing, I will release it and the springs will draw this back down. And that's pretty much all there is to it. You just make sure that this is closed. And then that goes into there. This goes into here. And you crank it up. Okay, I'm going to bring the grape pulp down here, and when it's time to transfer it into this container, I will use my thing there. Yes. Okay. First things first, I'll clean this, then I'll bring the stuff down, then I'll and you'll see. Okay, great. Okay, this is a muslin square that I have for squeezing out the juice. They use these for making jams and things of that nature. It does have some tears in it, so it's not holding up quite as well as I would have liked. So there's a nice tear there. However, what I will do is fold it over several times, and that should take care of some of that. Okay, we will start out with maybe 2 or 3 scoops. And then we'll just fold that over, fold that over, fold that over, fold that over, and then put the folds underneath. And as you can see, we already have juice. Yay! Hey, it's a success. What a juicer. All right. Wash my hands, and then I wash my hand. It'd be a lot simpler if I had my setup to hold my phone. Okay, I will set you down and get back with you in a second. Okay, now just crank this sucker, and we should be lined up in there. And this is where the magic happens. It's also where the pan falls down and everything goes completely awry. Awry. Tomato, tomato. Okay. The juice is collecting nicely. I could have used, if I had put a block of wood the same depth and relative size of the pan underneath, then the pan wouldn't have been all deformed, wouldn't have gotten squished. I still would have needed a catch pan like this. However, this is going to work out well. Okay, once we get what we think is as much juice squeezed out the way it is, then I'll bring it down, I'll empty the juice out, and then I'll reform that, or else I can just add more pulp to it. Hang on. Okay, now put that on there. I put one finger on the pan. And that releases it, and it comes down. Not really the same when I've got to hold on to the pan, but if I don't hold on to the pan, then the pan's not going to get held onto. Might end up with juice all over the place. Okay. Hold on. I know, what a wonky operation. But anyway, so there's the squished pulp, and the juice is collected in there. And then, well, I'll pour it into the R. And you're not going to see it because I can't do two things at once with only two arms. Okay. All right. Flip that over. And try to unfold this. You know, that's not too bad. I didn't think it would be all that dry. It is dry, but I might be able to squeeze some more out of that. So I think I'll try. I'll just leave it in there and add more pulp to it. Move that over here so I can get a little more sloppy. And Okay, we'll add another ladle, and quickly try to fold this up. And fold that over. Fold that in. Fold that in. And then we'll just flip that over. And some of it has gotten squeezed out. I do have a second cloth that I could employ at any given time, but I'm not going to because it's new. And we'll just stick with this one. Okay. Trust me, with two hands, well, it looks a little better, works a little smoother. Let's see, we've already got that much grape juice in there. I've done this with apples. I did it with Macintosh apples, and if you're familiar with Macintosh apples, you know that they're tart, but they have a sweetness to them. And you wouldn't think that the juice would be sweet without adding some sugar to it. Or you might, I don't know. However, when I did, I used 2 bags, I believe, and I was able to squeeze out of that about a quart. Quart? Yes. Maybe, yes. I'm sorry. Anyway, yeah. Approximately that same size container. I was using a plastic one from, I think, cranberry juice. And so, out of two bags of apples, I got that much cider. It looked just like cider, nice and dark brown. It was sweet, kind of thick. I mean, we could have probably added some water to it to dilute it down, but really wasn't necessary. So anyway, that is how you can do anything, as long as you grind it up first and make it into a pulp. You could do it with carrots. You could do it. Well, I did it with carrots and some other things. Didn't really care for the juice that I made, which is kind of funny because I did work at a produce market, and I was in charge of making. Well, that was one of the areas that I was in charge of. But we used to make fresh carrot juice, orange juice, grapefruit juice, and the carrot juice wasn't too bad. We used an industrial size juicer for that. But anyway, so the juicer itself wasn't that hard to make, although there were really no plans with measurements, and I had to pretty much eyeball it and take information from different people on what their machines, the size was. It's basically, you need either 2 posts like this, and then something rigid up there to hold a pan, and then a plate down here in order to put the pulp into and to get the juice squeezed out of, and a catch pan. Commercial juicers are all in one. They look kind of like this with a raised pan and a larger size catch area, and they usually have a spout down here. You know, the pan comes down to a V, and then you have to put something down there to catch the juice. So I did buy a stainless steel pan to replace the one that I had here, but I decided instead of doing that, I would try doing this, because in order to use the stainless steel pan in here, I would need to bulk it up underneath, and I didn't want to put wood underneath there. I may in the future build one of my own design, mostly out of wood, we'll have to wait and see. So anyway, if you want to make one, they're not that hard. Altogether, this was probably maybe $60. I had the wood. And you'll see other designs where they have 4 posts where they use maybe a steel rod for each post. So it's really up to you. And anyway, I'll show you a glass of the juice when I'm done, so you can hold on and see that. Now that is a better example of how it works. All right. Happens when you don't have it folded up well enough and it shoots it out. So, a lesson to be learned. Next time, either use less or use more than one cloth. That's where it split, right there. That's where it shot it out. Ah, clean. Once again. Okay, so I will have to rewrap that and make sure that no holes, no splits, and maybe try to double wrap it, and then we'll go back and squeeze out the rest of the juice and hopefully no more pulp. One little note, if you have a smartphone, and until I got this one, who didn't, my battery power was draining like somebody in the desert drinking water. And I ended up buying a replacement battery only to find the problem didn't go away and was just as bad. And what I discovered was if I disabled my mobile data, it took care of the battery problem. So if you are having the same problem and you don't need the mobile data, turn it off until you actually need it, and then after you're done with it, turn it off unless you're using it all the time, in which case you're going to need another battery. So just a little tip. Okay. Okay, here is the grape juice pressed from red grapes. So there you go. I'll give it a shot. That is really, really good. So hope you enjoyed the video along with the mishap. And if you want to give it a try, go to it. So thanks for watching. Take care. Bye.